Come to our new video America, the land of the free, the home of the brave, and the battlefield of two opposing ideologies. For decades now, the United States has been torn between red and blue, Republican and Democrat, conservative and liberal. But how did this divide begin? Why does it feel deeper than ever before? And can America ever bridge the gap? Welcome to Decoding America's Political Divide, Understanding Red versus Blue. In this video, we'll explore the roots of this political polarization, how it affects society, the role of media, and whether there's hope for unity. To understand the present, we must look to the past. The political divide in America didn't start with Trump, Biden, or Obama. Its roots go back to the founding of the country. In the early years, there were Federalists and Anti-Federalists. Later, Democrats and Whigs. But the real ideological split emerged in the mid-19th century, especially over the issue of slavery. The Civil War was America's most brutal expression of this division. The Republican Party, founded in 1854 as an anti-slavery party, became dominant in the North. The South largely opposed them. Even after the war, these divisions continued through Reconstruction, Jim Crow, and the Civil Rights Movement. In the 20th century, the parties began to shift. Democrats under FDR embraced more government intervention, while Republicans leaned towards small government and individual liberties. Then came the 1960s, a turning point. When the Democratic Party embraced civil rights, many white Southern conservatives began shifting to the Republican Party. A political realignment that reshaped the red-blue map we know today. What red and blue stand for today? Red is shorthand for conservative or Republican. Blue means liberal or democratic. But what do these colors really represent? Let's break it down. Red, America, Republican, conservative, values, tradition, limited government, free markets, strong national defense. Social views, often pro-life, support for gun rights, emphasis on religious values. Economic views, lower taxes, deregulation, individual responsibility. Blue America, Democrat, liberal, values, equality, progressive change, social justice, environmental protection. Social views, pro-choice, support for LGBTQ plus rights, emphasis on secularism. Economic views, more regulation, higher taxes on the wealthy, strong safety net. It's not just policy, it's a worldview. Red sees the government as a potential threat to freedom. Blue sees government as a tool to create fairness. Red emphasizes self-reliance. Blue emphasizes collective responsibility. The role of geography. Ever notice how rural areas tend to vote Republican and urban areas vote Democrat? This geographic divide is critical. Rural communities often feel left behind. Economically, culturally, politically, they value tradition, community, and independence. Cities, on the other hand, are more diverse, globalized, and progressive. They attract younger, more educated populations. This leads to something sociologists call the big sort, people moving to places where others share their values. As a result, red and blue aren't just ideologies, they're cultures. Different TV shows, different news sources, even different coffee orders. This separation fuels misunderstanding and sometimes resentment. The media machine, nothing, shapes political views today more than media. Conservative Americans trust Fox News, talk radio, and online voices like Ben Shapiro or Tucker Carlson. Liberals prefer MSNBC, CNN, or podcasts like Pod Save America. Social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, amplify this divide. Thanks to algorithms, we are fed content that confirms what we already believe, creating echo chambers and filter bubbles. Misinformation spreads rapidly. Outrage sells. Conflict drives clicks, and the more divided we become, the more profitable it is for media companies. In the digital age, political identity isn't just about voting, it's about tribalism, culture wars, and identity. The divide isn't just political, it's deeply cultural. Issues like abortion, immigration, climate change, gender identity, race, and policing have become flashpoints in a broader culture war. Each side sees the other as not just wrong, but dangerous. Red America feels its values, history, and way of life are under attack. Blue America feels it's fighting for justice, inclusion, and progress. It's not just disagreement anymore, it's distrust. A Pew Research study found that over 70% of Republicans and Democrats view the other party as a threat to the nation's well-being. That's not healthy disagreement, that's polarization. The role of politicians. Let's not forget the role of politicians in deepening this divide. Many leaders exploit the division to rally their base. Instead of uniting Americans, they use us, which is them language. Real Americans versus elites, patriots versus radicals. Make America great again versus build back better. These slogans aren't just policy, they're identity statements. Gerrymandering, voter suppression, and partisan primaries make it worse. Politicians only have to appeal to their base, not the whole country. The result? Compromise becomes weakness. Moderates get sidelined, extremes gain power. Is there hope? So, is America doomed to be a house divided? Not necessarily. Despite all the noise, most Americans agree on more than you'd think. They want fair elections. They care about their families, jobs, and communities. They believe in freedom and democracy. The key is to listen more, demonize less. We need media, literacy, a civic education, and leaders who put country over party. It starts with us reaching across the aisle, not to agree on everything, but to understand. Because the strength of America was never in its sameness, but in its ability to disagree without destroying each other. The red and the blue are part of one flag. And if we remember that, maybe we can build a future that honors both. Real stories from both sides. To truly understand the divide, we need to go beyond theories and listen to real people. Meet Sarah, a conservative mother of 3 living in rural Kansas. For her, the Republican Party stands for hard work, faith, and keeping the government out of her life. She's worried about inflation, school curriculums, and preserving traditional values. Then there's Jamal, a young black liberal in Atlanta. He supports the Democratic Party because he sees it as a force for racial justice, economic opportunity, and climate action. He's concerned about gun violence, student debt, and systemic inequality. These 2 Americans live in the same country, but in entirely different realities. They're not enemies, they're citizens with different experiences, fears, and hopes. Yet, modern politics tells them to distrust each other. Isn't it time we change that narrative? The power of language and labels words matter. When we label others as libtards or fascists, we don't just insult, we dehumanize. Political language has become weaponized. Generational shifts. Another layer of the divide: age. Younger Americans tend to lean blue, progressive on social issues, climate, and diversity. George Floyd and mass protests, when red and blue work together. Despite the chaos, collaboration still happens. Republican Senator Tim Scott and Democratic Senator Cory Booker worked on police reform. If you enjoyed this video and it gave you something to think about, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.